Hey class, let's move into another phase. We're going to do the electrical plan today. We started, and what we need to do is make sure that you have your ceilings in place, your cabinets, your doors and windows, so you know the placement of your outlets. It's really important that you have things caught up and done at this point. Once you verified that, let's go ahead and go into our main level floor line. And from here, we're going to find, let's go here. And we need to look at, replace that and get everything updated. All right. Once you get your file saved, which is a good thing to do periodically, we're going to look at just how much is on our main floor. We've got our dimensions, we've got our door tags, we've got our room names, we've got all the architectural elements, the site plans there. We've got a lot of things we need to kind of clean up a little bit for electrical. Now, you can do your electrical on the same exact plan as the main floor or as the floor plans, but it does get cluttered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a new electrical plan and to simplify it down for you. Okay, so what we're going to do from here is we're going to go over to our browser. We're going to go find a main level floor line with a right click. You're going to go up to duplicate view and just go straight across the duplicate. What that'll do is if you use the duplicate with detailing, you then bring all your dimensions with it. We just want just the architectural elements without the dimensions. Now, some other things will come with it, but it'll be a lot less work for you. So click on duplicate, and we now have a new copy of the floor plan. The first thing we're going to do is rename that. So we're going to right click on the new name, rename it, and I'm going to remove the words line, copy, and the number 1 and change that with the word electrical. So just rename it so you know it's the electrical plan. And you would do this for your upper level floor line and for your basement as well. So get that cursor to kick in there. And remove that. It's not always cooperative when you're being watched. Okay, and we have that. Now, at this point, we can do a couple things with the hide in view line. When we did this, I lost all my room names too, which is kind of a little sad. So I'm going to take and select one of the landscape features, right click and hide that in the category. I'm going to do the same thing with the section cut lines. I'm going to hide that category. And I'm going to also now select elements of the site plan. So the driveway, the curb and gutter, the topo surface, the property line, all of that needs to be hidden as elements. And the driveway into the garage. Okay, now I've got my scope box here. That can stay. My house is looking pretty good at this point. I'm going to go ahead and remove the underlay of, it's actually the upper floor. So let's go and take care of the upper floor and change that to none. And it's getting easier and easier. Now, my room tags are gone. So if I bring those room tags back, I want to do it without the area. So just the room tag. And I can replace each of those room names so that I don't have to come in and rename them. And I can do that because I'm in a different view, which has become nice and clean, and which is really helpful. And so we're just going to pop these names back in there. There's entry, the library, master bath, water closet. Could just, again, remember the water closet can just be WC. And then we've got all these little closets. There's a coat closet there in the mudroom area. And one here, which is a linen. And I think I got all my names back in room here. All right. And then we're just going to cancel that. So that kind of clears it up. I'm not going to do Probably should have done the garage. Might as well. If I'm going to do it right. It's kind of a way to live and get that in there. All right, so all things named again. And if you go back to your main floor, you'll see that that's left the way it was, and we create a whole new element here. All right, now the next thing I want you to do is simplify this down a lot. So we then go down to our detail level, and usually I keep things on fine. Once you change it to coarse, so now it's just an outline of the walls. And we're going to go in and change some of the inner features that are more architectural than electrical. Again, we're only building this for the electrician, and so they can get their job done. So a lot of this we can modify and change out, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to do that with our visibility and graphics. I believe our hotkeys on that are VV, and that brings up our visibility and graphic overrides, which is also here in your properties. Now, what I'm going to start with is we're going to just kind of take our casework, and we're going to just put a check mark in halftone. That's your cabinets, that sort of thing on there. And we're going to go to our doors, the same thing with the doors. And I'm trying to remember all the things we've got to change on this. Our doors are furniture, our generic models, our mechanical equipment. Don't get that mixed up with medical equipment. Keep them separate. Your what else we got on here? Stairs. I'll do the stairs as well. And I think the last thing, and I'm probably going to miss something, is your windows. So windows. And now I'm just going to slide this over. Once you hit apply, you're going to see everything go kind of a gray tone. Now there's a few things that didn't, and that would be in my plumbing, because I always forget the plumbing. Your plumbing fixtures also go halftone. And I think we got a few other things. Yeah, we got a few other things that, let's just go ahead and hit OK, and we'll find those. Let's see, like the refrigerator, which is special equipment. That's one, so we'll go back and get special equipment. Always miss something, but it just takes a minute to get that all taken care of. And then the countertop, that is the made of floors. So we're going to do floors as well, so that they mute down. We'll still have our rooms and everything, but we're just going to mute that down and go with that as well. So apply that. And now we've got nice, clean area to work. All right, so now we can go ahead and start doing our electrical plan. Now we could go in and change the infill for the walls in the same area if you want to have a little bit more pop to that, which is pretty common to do. Then that's going to be going down to your walls. And on the walls, we expand that out. We're looking at, let's see, not expanding. We're looking at the pattern to do an override here in the pattern. So I guess we didn't need to expand it out, but we go over to the cut patterns, click in the override box, and in the pattern on the foreground, what we want to do is pick that as a solid tone at first is what we want to do there. And then you can, on that, once you place that in, if we apply it, then it can black. But if you half tone it, now you've got a gray infill on there. So it just has a nice little look to it, and it's going to make your electrical process pop out a little bit better. Okay, so nice gray infill walls, and just kind of has a good look to it. But again, we're drawing the importance to the electrical system now and not the architectural. So I kind of muted it up a little bit. Okay, now the first thing that I like to do is put in outlets. So we then go to the tabs at the top, go to Systems, and then over to the Electrical Equipment, Devices, and Lighting Fixtures. Way over on the right, start with Devices. And it's going to say, if you click on it, it might say there's no devices loaded. So we'll hit yes on that. And if that's the case, you want to go into your library. Let me get back a little bit. And you want to hit the electrical on there. Now we're looking at system families. So in your system families, there's nothing there right now because we haven't created anything new. So click your electrical and hit open. And architecture. And in there you have electrical fixtures, power, and information. If you look at fixtures, you're going to have mainly solar things. So household power, it's all about solar panel. That one's not doing anything good right now. We didn't go with solar power. So what we want is electrical power. And we want, there's two items. There's distribution, which is how the power gets into the house and then out to the outlets, and the terminals. And the terminals are the switches and the outlets. We want the terminals. And in there, go ahead and find the outlet duplex. That's your two places to plug an appliance into. You also have in there what else you did? They give you a outlet single. You might use that for a microwave. You might use the triplex. You got the dimmer switch, which you could use. You won't use the switch double, but you will use the single switch and the three-way. So if you want to hold your control key down and select three-way switch, single switch, dimmer switch, outlet single, outlet range, outlet GFI, outlet duplex, select those and open all of them at once, then they'll be all loaded into your template. And you can overwrite any versions and values that might be there, so you have fresh, ready to go on there. And it's going to take just a minute to do all that. So go ahead and get that done. And get those all in. And hit yes. All right, so now they're loaded into our area. We're going to start with the outlet duplex, and we're going to go with that one. Now, once that's there, you should be able to just go and click on device. We got to move to electrical fixture. So device down arrow, electrical fixture. And now over in your template, you should have an outlet duplex single and a switch single in there. So start with the duplex outlet, and it's just going to look like a plate. And when you move around your drawing, you're not going to see anything until you put it by a wall. Now, if you're not seeing it by a wall, that means the visibility has not been turned on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to VV and bring up our visibility overrides. I want you to scroll down to get to electrical. Expand that. Well, you'll find that you got electrical equipment and electrical fixtures. If the check mark is missing from electrical fixtures, go ahead and add it, and then hit apply and OK. Now when you put your outlet by the wall, it will show. Okay, so what you're wanting to do, and I'll just start in the primary bedroom, you want an outlet no more than 12 linear feet apart. You want multiple outlets on each wall. You want to try and go maybe every 6 feet with an outlet, but definitely do your best to place those outlets where they make the most sense for whoever owns the house, and make them spread out. So, and again, any wall that's 2 feet or greater gets an outlet. So you've got a few outlets you're going to be placing just in the master alone. And don't forget the hallway going down to the master bath. And I do put outlets on the inside of my closets when they're this large. You might want to steam in a tie or iron a shirt. And I'm going to put my outlets, if they're on both sides of the wall, near each other so that the electrician doesn't have to wire twice. They can just go in and use the same junction box for both sides of the wall. It makes things a little easier. Now, behind my washer, I'm going to need an outlet, but it needs to be a GFI because there's water involved. So we're going to not do the bathroom right now. Then move next to the library. And again, I'm then trying to put 2 per wall. There was a time when we put 1 outlet per room, and we quickly discovered that that was nowhere near enough outlets. So put them in as many as you feel you're going to need to accomplish what needs to be done in a space. And that's going to be really kind of a critical thing for you. So try to imagine how the space is used as you place your outlets. That's usually a good way to gauge what you can and can't do with it and where you need outlets to be as we go along. And it does get a little tedious for a little bit, but it is a good exercise as you go through and make sure you got enough coverage for everything that's required by the code and to get everything in there. Okay, again, if it's got water, we're not going to do water rooms right now. Now, the kitchen is separate from the nook, so the nook does get outlets placed. And so you can do what you need to with Christmas decor, birthday parties, all that good stuff. And so we're just going to get those outlets in. And a good rule of thumb, again, like I say, you should try and go 2 per wall. And it just keeps the spacing a little better on there. I am going to put an outlet in the pantry. Maybe there's a food grinder, maybe there's a food processor, a dehydrator that then they use there. Mainly because that room is isolated from neighbor water sources. So that leaves me with a laundry, 2 baths, and a kitchen to do. Oh, I didn't do the living room. Got to do the living room. Get that done real quick. So just kind of place these outlets around the room, and so you have them. Now, I'm going to, hopefully we'll get to where we can see everything that needs to happen here. It's going to be probably a multi-part video that we're going to end up doing here. I'm just going to do a little move real quick of a couple and move them up. So it's spacing. All right, now, once you get those all in, now we're ready to go on to our GFI outlets, the ones that are going to be for water. So again, back into your systems, device, electrical fixture, and we need to load it in all the way. We activated it, we need to load it. So let's go edit type, load, and you then go find your terminals, should come up pretty quick. Find the outlet GFI and open that one and let that update. Now, the outlet GFI is a mount 4 feet off the ground. The other outlets or duplexes are 12 inches off the ground, and that's to the top of the outlet. So what we've got to do here is you have to make a choice. Your countertops in your kitchen are at 36 inches. You could raise them up to 42, and then this doesn't seem quite so drastic. Or you can lower your outlets here to being 42 inches off the floor. That's 3'6" instead of 4 feet. You can make that determination. I'm going to place mine at 4 feet for right now, and then adjust individuals as needed if the time is if it's necessary. Okay, but 4 feet's kind of where I'm going to place them, and here we go. So hit OK, and I'm going to start in the laundry, and there's going to be an outlet for the washer and dryer. Now, the dryer may be a gas dryer, and if that's the case, I would have to put a gas line in, but it also gets a different outlet than the washer. It takes a lot more power. So the washer is a GFI. Put a couple on your countertops so you can, sew or dye or whatever you're doing to your fabrics. And ironing, it's always a good thing. But every outlet in that room is GFI. So we want to show that. Now, technically, we could put one in there, and then they would any outlet that comes after that would be GFI protected. Your electrician will know to do it. I label them so that there's no question legally as to what's happening in there. I just don't want to get burned, and that's what I'm going to do. So we need one for the refrigerator, for in the kitchen, and the kitchen I go about every 4 feet, so there's never enough outlets in the kitchen, especially if it's holidays, and so I put extras in where I can. It just kind of helps a little bit. Now, I do want an outlet for my dishwasher and my garbage disposal. Unfortunately, I can't get to them because of the countertop. The countertop's a floor. So I'm going to cancel out of my placements for right now. I'm going to go and get my modify arrow, and I'm going to select the countertop, and I'm going to hide it for a moment. So it's an element hide. Then I'm going to go back to my device, and then I go back up my outlet. I need to lower this one. Okay, so these I'm going to put at 18 inches off the ground. So I'm just going to do a 1.5 feet my elevation from level. And I'm going to place one for the dishwasher and one for the garbage disposal. And apparently I got an extra one there. So I'll have to get rid of that one. You have to do windows to select these. They don't select super well. Now I got to bring that countertop back. So I'm going to go down to my reveal hidden elements icon and select just the countertop. Right click, unhide an element, and then hit the light bulb again and back to where we were. Okay, so far so good. We're doing well. It's got the master bath next. Okay, so we're back to our electrical equipment. Oops, that choice. Got to cancel out of that. It's device, not electrical equipment. And then I'm going to put an outlet in the toilet closet, one behind the washer. I'm not going to put one in the shower. I am going to put one on the walls around near the sinks for shaving and hair dryers and all that wonderful stuff that goes on there. And once we get that all done, we are good for the outlets. Okay. All right. Now the next thing we want to put in here is they've got some special outlets like the range that has a higher voltage. So I'm going to go get that outlet next. So go systems, device, electrical component, edit type and load. So got to bring it in. And we're going to look now for the range. So the range has three lines that go perpendicular to the wall and a letter R. So that's our range. So we'll open that one up and apply and OK. And find our range. And this goes right behind the range. And if I usually we'll do both. I'll do the range and then I'll also do a gas line there as well. In the event that when the house sells, the next owner may prefer gas over electric. And we want to make sure it's all taken care of ahead of time, so there's no surprises. So I put behind the range. The other place that needs this special outlet, this 220 volt outlet, is my dryers, but I don't want to put an R there. So I'm going to do an edit type, duplicate the range, and change it from single 2 to dryer. Just going to put dryer on there and hit OK with that. I'm going to change the placement height back to the 4 foot, primarily because I don't want it down the lower level where water might be behind my washing machine. I want to keep it as far from water as possible. So this is going to go behind the dryer, and if you've got 2, then behind both of them. And I just realized I missed something really important. I didn't make a change, so I got to go back and do one more edit real quick. So I've done an edit, but they still have R's. So go back into edit type. I forgot to change the label. The label right underneath the elevation says R. I need you to change that to a D for dryer and apply that. And that should globally fix the ones you put in, so they're all correct now. Yay. And we need to do one more for the jetted tub. So we then go and take the dryer and edit that one, duplicate it. This time I'm going to change dryer to tub. So this will be a jet tub, JTTUB. And the label is going to change from a D. You can do a couple things here. You can put a T, but it's going to get confusing if we do that. So I usually will just usually just leave it with a J or a jet or JT. Or if you want to just do garden tub, that's a garden GT. You can label that what you will. You just need to make sure you let the contractor know why you're labeling it and what it is. Or you can leave it blank. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put J for jacuzzi or jet tub so that it's different. And hit apply and OK. And this goes down by your garden tub in the master's bath there. Okay, that's outlets. All right, now we've got a couple other things we need to put on this floor to make it all perfectly great. We need to put a telephone jack in. We need one of those, and that's going to be kind of important. So telephone jacks, and then we got switches, lots and lots of switches. So we then go into our device and go down to telephone, or there's also one in communication. Let's go down to telephone so we can get a better one there. So load those in, and we have to go back a folder and get out of the electrical terminators and go to information and communication. And that gives us a T-val. That's not the one I want. We want to go, where did that go? Back out even further. So in the main library, the US library, if we're looking at telephone, that would be specialty equipment, maybe? Nope. Let's cancel that. I shouldn't have taken that. I should just have to do device. Let's go communication. That might be a little better one to go. Let's load the communication because the telephone one isn't bringing us what we want. Back up there a little bit. Terminals, electrical power, information, communication. And I know there's a telephone jack. Let's go all the way back to the library. Let's go back into it's got to be in special equipment. There's no other place it could be. And it's kind of funny why I can't remember where that's at. I remember. It's still in electrical, by the way. I can't believe I'm having that kind of a brain day. We need to go to MEP, and from there we go to information communication. So not in the architecture, but in the MEP. And in there's a communication folder. And from there, we will find a telephone outlet that we want. So we're going to go to the telephone outlet, and then open that one up. And this one does have a few quirks to it. So when you go into the MEP and communications, it's going to give us some family things that are a little odd with it. It's just going to fight me on this for a minute. Okay. When we go to place it, and I'm going to have to place it with the, I'm going to have to I'm in the wrong command here. So go back to device, communication. It's just fighting me. And the edit type and load, and make sure I load it. Oh man, it's just not going to let me do this. I should load. Yes, I would like to load one now. I want the telephone outlet. Oh, you know why it won't? Because it's a component. It is not a system, it's a component. Architecture component, and we'll place it that way. Um, it's hard to keep track of all these sometimes. I apologize. We have to go edit type, load. So in the architectural component, now get your telephone outlet. It's going to open up just fine because it is a different built animal. And so hit OK. Now, when you're placing this one, you want to do it on a vertical plane because if you just bring it in, it's going to look like a horn. And so change the placement of that component to place on a vertical surface. And then when you put it up against a wall, and I usually put phone jacks in the kitchen because it's kind of a neutral working area. It's going to show as a triangle, and the triangle needs to be pointing to the wall. And when you place it, it should be black and filled in solid. You just need one, and that's for alarm systems and stuff like that, 911 and everything. So place one phone jack in the house. That's all that's required. We used to put them in every room, but now we don't need to. Okay, that takes care of that. Let's go ahead and put some switches in there. So that is a system. So back to systems, device, electrical fixture. Save your work. I'm going to skip that for right now because I'm trying to catch up. Go and get that single switch. Let's make sure you're in switch, not outlet, because they look the same. And we're going to start with the rooms that only have one entry. Your switches then go on the strike side of the door or the knob side. I'm going to put a switch at each of those doors. If you're in your restroom, you'll probably need two because you'll then put a fan in as well. But every room that has just a single entry, we're going to take care of those first. It's just easier. Likewise, your powder rooms. We'll put one here for the there. We'll put one bedroom lights. And some of these lights will have three ways. Probably most of them will. And place the switch here. And that's good. We'll take that one out. Now, when you get those all in, we probably want to do some three ways next. So you place them in the rooms. I'm going to put a light in my closets as well, just so that we can light them up and see what we're putting on. I made a mistake once of not turning the light on. I had one blue sock, one black sock, and it was not a dark blue; it was a light blue. It looked weird. So, all right. Now the next thing is our switches that we're doing is our three-way. So we do systems, device, electrical. You have to edit type and load. And we're then going to get our switches. So we got to go back to architecture. So out of the MEP that we did for our last element, we then go architecture. And we then go to electrical power and terminals. And we want to get that three-way switch. And it'll have a 3 on it. Now, 3 ways are so you can work the light from more than one location, typically 2. So now we can come through and you can plan where the light's going to turn off and on. So like in my kitchen, I'll have a light that comes on when I go through this entrance and one by the back door. And maybe there's 2 sets of lights, so I have a well-lit kitchen. And so I'll put another one in there. And it does get a little tricky because you have to be on a wall to place the light. So you might have to do some moving around to make things work. Just remember you have to window your electrical device before you can arrow it. And then you can place the one next to it. They do get very crowded very quickly. And just so be aware of that. Okay, so we got 2 there. And we put 2 down here. Try not to overlap your symbols. Keep them clean. You put 2 over here. And I tend to try not to put switches underneath cabinets because I like to flip my arm up when I turn the lights on, and inevitably I'm going to knock my knuckles. So just kind of be aware of that. And we'll put a couple of switches here to control everything. And again, we might have to add or remove switches later depending on what we end up doing. Okay, the master suite. Probably did a switch in the library. About what the stair, I'm going to have one switch at the bottom of the stair. There'll be another at the top of the stair. But I'm just going to show one three-way at the bottom. And then when we come into the master suite, I probably want to turn a light on and then be able to turn it off when I'm coming out of the restroom or going into the restroom. And I think that's what I want to do. I think that's good. And I'll probably make adjustments as we go. So take a minute now and go ahead and get your switches and your outlets and your GFIs and your range. Go and get all of those placed. I am just going to add one more switch here because I forgot to put one in the walk-in closets. I did put one. When did I miss? I was going along there thinking, oh, I forgot to put one in there. Huh. I guess I didn't after all. Okay, so we're good. And I'll have to add some more because I know I'm going to have to add more switches in as we go. It's just kind of the way it works is you don't get them all and you just add them, which is really nice about BIM. Okay, let's get that much done and we'll come back for part 2.